So of course you've heard plenty of things about Huawei in the news being banned by the government. So I really don't want to talk about that in this video. What I want to talk about is how a company can be taken down by government, and companies in the past have faced this kind of threat before. So of course, it's free to start a business, make it grow, take it international and all that good stuff. But you don't have all the rights depend on what you do within that company. For instance, when AT&T started buying up all the telecom companies back in the past, they got slapped with a monopoly and they had to break the company up. And if you all remember, Bell South was one of the companies that it broke off into. Then after competition built up, then AT&T was able to buy back their own company. And now Bell South is no more, but it's all AT&T. Microsoft was another one got hit with monopoly, and Bill Gates himself was almost stressed out about it. And it can be hard, especially when you're building a company. And then the government want to turn around and shut you down. Of course, Microsoft also got hit in Europe based on what they were doing in that country. And you know how the China market is, it's hard to get anything over there as far as Facebook and all that other stuff. But one thing for sure, all these companies, no matter if you're local or worldwide, your company is at the mercy of the government. And if you get on the government bad side, no matter where you are in the globe, you are target for a shutdown. So it's bad news for a company who gets on the government bad side. Now, I'm not taking any company side in this matter. I think, yes, you need somebody to oversee these companies. That's monopolizing thing. That's engineering thing. But then you got some company that pays off government officials to get things to slide by. So there's always a loophole in the system, or should I say a backdoor in the system, where people can just slip in and still do their dirt. Now, the spying has been going on for centuries. Neighbor spy on neighbors. Company spy on other companies. Government spy on other governments. And countries spy on other countries. It hasn't been something new, but sometimes the wording in it is kind of different, and it's never going to go away. It's been done since Age of Men. The only difference is now we have the technology to do it even more sophisticated. We don't have to send somebody over there and spy on them to see what they're doing. We can just do it from a computer now. So I do support any government that like to shut down any company anywhere on the globe that's doing malpracticing. Because we got to keep these companies in check. Make sure they're not doing anything to harm the consumer. But I think we should have a clear reason as to why you want to shut down a certain company. And there have to be clear-cut evidence. Now you can say company A has been stealing from company B, trade secret and stuff like that. But like I said, that's been going on for decades. And most of the top companies are doing it. Apple, Microsoft, and Sony, and everybody else. Stealing from each other because they're trying to be competitive with the other ones. So sometimes, they look at what the other person's doing and try to do their version of it. It might seem like it's stealing, but I think that's what drives competition. So if they're stealing patents and stuff like that, yes, they should be penalized for it. I agree. But you can't have competition without mimicking. In order for company A to make a smartphone to compete with company B smartphone, some things have to be mimicked. If they have 3 cameras, you gotta at least have 3 cameras over here so you can compete. Because these companies see that this phone right here can take better pictures, whether it has 2 cameras or 3 cameras. They're gonna add 2 or 3 cameras to their phone so they can get better pictures the same way as company A. So that's a form of copying or mimicking or stealing, or however you want to put it. But that's the only way you can have competition. Now, like I said, if a company is blatantly stealing stuff, yes, they should be penalized. Should they be shut down? I don't think so. I think they should be slapped with a big fine and make sure they don't do it again based on what they're doing. And if they continue doing what they're doing, then it's time to shut them down. So the banning of Huawei shows that the government can shut you down locally or globally. But there's another key factor to this. If you become on the blacklist, the problem with the world right now is no one company makes all the different parts or even the software that runs on a particular device. So with that being said, every company has the potential, if they get on a blacklist, to be shut down easily. Money can't buy it back because they don't have the means to make certain parts off that device, because the screen is being made by one manufacturer. The lens to the camera is produced by somebody else. The CPU inside of it, the battery, all these different parts are being manufactured by someone else. So in the case of Huawei, as you can see, once you get blacklisted and all these companies that makes the parts for your device start pulling out, then you're going to be in some serious trouble, because you haven't set up anything to manufacture those parts yourself. So it's a potential that you can go out of business that way, because it's going to take you a long time to even develop new relationship with different companies, or even start building those parts yourself. And this goes for every single company that builds stuff and sell it to the consumer. So Microsoft, Apple, Google, all these companies and more are subject to be potentially hurt for a while if they get put on a blacklist, because the parts that make up their device is not totally manufactured by them. So this is a wake-up call based on Huawei situation to see that if you get blacklisted, there's a potential you can be shut down. So let's hope that Huawei possibly can recover from this. I mean, I hate to see a company go down, especially if I was the one built that company and, you know, I was trying to get to do the right thing. And you're going to always have somebody within your company, especially when it grows larger. You cannot watch every single individual. The only thing you can do is punish them when you find out that they were doing wrong. Because as the company grows and you start having hundreds of thousands, 200,000 employees, it's hard to watch every single employee and making sure they're doing the right thing. Although you would love to, as a company, to be able to catch that person in the act. Now, you know, at your job, there's some things that you get away with that you know you shouldn't have been doing, but you got away with it anyway. So we all do that. The only difference is if you're at a company where the thing is on a grander scale, yes, it's going to affect the company big time. But it's human nature for us to try to get away with things. So I wish Huawei the best. I'm one of the users of their product, so I wish them the best. And not just because I'm a user, because I would hate for that to happen to any other company like Apple or Microsoft. And we can say this won't happen to them, but there's no sure thing when it comes to this type of stuff. So it could easily happen to Apple or Microsoft or anybody else. Okay, so that's my take on this whole thing. This is probably the last time we'll talk about the subject, because I think the internet and YouTube is just full of this stuff right now. So I'm going to move on to other things. I just want to say this last bit and get it out the way, get it off my chest. Thanks for taking the time for watching this video. I look forward to see you next time. Have a good one.